Hello everybody, this is Refresh, and I'm here to bring you a battle between these two Guilds of Ravnica sealed decks and the Defeated God challenge deck from Journey into Nyx. We'll be playing with 3 hero cards for this battle. We have the Harvester over here, which says tap, draw a card, then discard a card. The Explorer, which says you may play an additional land on each of your turns. And the Vanquisher, which says your starting hand size is increased by 1 and your maximum hand size is increased by 1. Because I only have one of each of these cards, we'll be applying these cards to both decks simultaneously. On the left we have Boros, on the right we have an Izzet deck, and we will be playing this on normal difficulty with 3 Rollicking Throngs, followed by a difficult mode attempt with 4 Rollicking Throngs. We'll start with 8 cards apiece. Boros draws a Boros Challenger, Barging Sergeant, Ledev Guardian, Goblin Banneret, Smeltboard, Minotaur, Hammer Dropper, Justice Strike, and Cosmotronic Wave. There are no lands here, and this is a no keep as a result. Because this is multiplayer, we will be drawing back up to 8. For the second hand, Boros gets a Plains, Fire Urchin, Mountain, Demotion, Smeltboard, Minotaur, Plains, Hammer Dropper, and Plains. This is definitely a much more keepable hand, so we will do so. Izzet draws 8. And their cards are Niv Mizzet Perun, Island, Murmuring Mystic, Barging Sergeant, Sure Strike, Mountain, and Mountain. This is not an ideal hand because it's a bit on the slower side, but we're going to keep it regardless, and hopefully we'll be able to get what we need. We'll go ahead and start by drawing a card apiece since this is multiplayer. Boros draws a Fresh Face Recruit, and Izzet draws a Sonic Assault. We'll go ahead and start by playing a Mountain and a Plains over here. We'll tap both of them, and we will play a Fire Urchin over here, and then we'll play a Mountain and an Island over here, and we will pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos is going to cast the topmost cards. First we have an Impulsive Charge. At the beginning of combat this turn, all revelers gain haste until end of turn and attack this combat if able, so they will be attacking this turn. And we also have Impulsive Return. Return 2 cards named Ecstatic Piper from Xenagos' graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of combat this turn, Impulsive Return deals damage to each player equal to the number of revelers on the battlefield. There are no Ecstatic Pipers to return. First, we're going to take 3 damage per player, which is a total of 6 damage from the Rollicking Throngs. And that'll take us to 14. And then all 3 of them are going to attack. And one of them will be blocked by the Fire Urchin, but we'll take 2 more damage to go down to 12. And then we'll end the turn by using the Harvester. Boros will draw a Plains and will discard a Demotion. Izzet will draw a Fresh Face Recruit and will discard the Sure Strike. And then we'll untap. Then we'll draw. Boros draws a Goblin Banneret. Izzet draws a Wojak Bodyguard. And then we will play a Mountains and an Island over here. We'll play 2 Plains over here. Then what we'll be doing is we will spend 4 mana over here to play the Murmuring Mystic, and we will spend 4 mana over here to play the Hammer Dropper. We don't quite have the ability to attack yet, so we're going to hold off for at least 1 more turn, and we will pass to Xenagos. Xenagos will untap. And then we'll cast the top 2 cards. The first one being an Ecstatic Piper. It says when Ecstatic Piper enters the battlefield, Xenagos Ascended attacks this turn if able. Xenagos will be attacking this turn. And then we'll also have the Dance of Flame. When a Reveler attacks, Dance of Flame deals 1 damage to each player. So we'll have to keep that in mind when the Revelers are attacking. We're going to be attacked by Xenagos, who's going to come in on the attack like this. And we are going to go ahead and take all 6 damage to go down to 6, which is precarious, but it's something that we need to do. And then at the end of the turn, we'll use the Harvester. Boros will draw a Ledev Guardian and will discard the Goblin Banneret. Izzet will draw a Murmuring Mystic and will discard the Sonic Assault. Then we'll untap. We'll draw. Boros draws a Mountain. Izzet draws a Chemist's Insight. We will play both the Mountain and the Plains. Over here, we're going to pay 4 mana and play a Murmuring Mystic. So now we have 2 over here, and we are going to pay 3 mana here to play the Smeltboard Minotaur, and then 2 more mana to play the Fresh Face Recruit. And then we're going to attack with the Hammer Dropper and the Fire Urchin. The Hammer Dropper is going to mentor onto the Fire Urchin, making it a 2/4. The 2/4 is going to hit the Ecstatic Piper, while the Hammer Dropper is going to hit the Rollicking Throng. Both of these are going to die, and the Ecstatic Piper says when Ecstatic Piper leaves the battlefield, each player gains 2 life. So we're going to gain 4 life to go back up to 10. And then we're going to pass to Xenagos, who's going to untap and then cast the top 2 cards. The first one being a Serpent Dancers. It is a 2/4 Death Touch. And then also the Ecstatic Piper, which means Xenagos is going to go in on the attack again. Xenagos attacks, and I think this time we're going to have to block it. So we will throw the Smelt Ward Minotaurs in the way, and the Smelt Ward Minotaurs will die. And then we will use the Harvester at the end of the turn. Boros draws a Parhelion Patrol, and Izzet draws a Mountain. We will discard the Ledev Guardian, and we will discard the Fresh-Faced Recruit. Then we will untap. Boros draws a Plains, Izzet draws an Island, and then we will play the Plains. We will play the Island and the Mountain over here. And then we will go on the attack again. We're going to attack with the Hammer Dropper and the Fresh-Faced Recruit. The Hammer Dropper is going to be attacking one of the Rollicking Throngs. The Fresh-Faced Recruit is going to get a counter, and with its first strike, attack the other Rollicking Throng. It will also attack with the Fire Urchin into the Ecstatic Piper, and that should finish off all 3 of those. We're going to gain another 4 life from the Ecstatic Piper to go back up to 14. And then on the second main phase, we will tap 4 mana over here and play a Parhelion Patrol. Over here, we're going to tap all 6 mana and play Niv-Mizzet Parun. And then we're going to pass to Xenagos. Xenagos is going to untap and then cast the top 2 cards. The first one being an Impulsive Charge. At the beginning of combat this turn, all revelers gain haste until end of turn and attack this combat if able. And we also have another Dance of Flame. So we're going to be attacked by the Serpent Dancers, which is a 2/4 Death Toucher. We're going to take 2 damage plus another 2 damage each player for a total of 8 damage to take us down to 6. And then we will just take the extra 2 and go down to 4, since I think we're going to win on this following turn. And so next what we're going to do is we're going to untap. Boros will draw a Legion War Boss, and Izzet will draw a Mountain. We'll play the Mountain, and then we just need to finish off this and then find some other way to finish them off. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cast the Chemist's Insight, because we're going to be looking to draw 2 cards and hopefully draw a means of finishing off Xenagos. That is not the case. We'll play the Mountain that we drew, and then we also drew a Goblin Electromancer, but we're going to trigger these, so we're going to get 2 Bird Illusion tokens from that, and then we are going to also trigger Niv-Mizzet twice. It's going to hit the Serpent Dancers twice because of the 2 card draws, and because we cast once, we're going to draw again for another Mountain, which will trigger and hit this one more time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attack with the Fresh-Faced Recruit into the Serpent Dancers to finish it off using its first strike, and it already has 3 damage on it, so this dies. And then when it leaves the battlefield, each player draws a card, so we'll draw a card each. Boros draws an Island, and Izzet draws a Mountain. We'll go ahead and play the Mountain as the last Mountain. We're going to tap 3 here, and we'll play a Legion War Boss. And then we'll tap 3 here, play the Wojak Bodyguard, and 2 to play the Goblin Electromancer. And then we will pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos will cast the top 2 cards. The first one being Ecstatic Piper, which means that he's going to attack. The second one being an Ecstatic Piper, which means that he's going to attack. He's going to attack. We're going to chump it with one of the Bird Illusion tokens, because he doesn't have trample by himself. And then we will use the Harvester. Boros will draw a Ledev Guardian to discard the Island, and Izzet will draw an Island and will discard the Mountain. Then we'll untap. We'll draw. Boros draws a Plains. Izzet draws an Island. We'll play the Island, and I think we just have to keep getting my guys bigger. So what we're going to do is we are going to spend 5 mana over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play the Barging Sergeant. It's going to enter, and it's going to attack with the Wojak Bodyguard, and the Wojak Bodyguard is going to attack with the Goblin Electromancer. And then we're also going to attack over here with the Hammer Dropper, which is going to attack in with the Parhelion Patrol, which is going to attack in with the Legion War Boss, which also generates a Goblin, which is going to attack. And that's a lot to attack just 2 Ecstatic Pipers, but that's fine. The Barging Sergeant is going to put a counter on the Wojak Bodyguard, which is going to put a counter on the Goblin Electromancer. And similarly, the Hammer Dropper is going to put a counter on the Parhelion Patrol, which is going to put a counter on the Legion War Boss, which is going to put a counter on the Goblin Token. That'll kill these 2, and we'll gain 8 life to go back up to 12. And we don't have a way of finishing off Xenagos, so we're just going to sit here. We will untap Xenagos and go to his turn. He's going to cast the top 2 cards, the first one being Ecstatic Piper, the second one being a Rollicking Throng, which says when Rollicking Throng enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of Xenagos' library, and Xenagos casts extra cards. So we'll cast one more, which is another Rollicking Throng, which is going to cast another card, which is the Serpent Dancers, that 2/4 that we remember from back in the day. And then Xenagos is going to go on the attack. We'll put another bird token in his way, and then we will go back to our turn. Before the end of our turn, we're going to use a Harvester. Boros will draw a Barging Sergeant and discard the Plains. Izzet will draw a Hypothesis and discard the island. Then we'll untap. Then we'll draw. We have a Rubble Belt Boar here and a mountain over here. We're going to start by casting Hypothesis. So that's 3 over here, 2 more over here. Hypothesis will get cast. We're going to draw 2 cards, and we're going to have a bunch of triggers. We're going to create 2 bird tokens off the Murmuring Mystics, and we'll also be triggering the Niv-Mizzet Perun twice, which will do 2 damage to the Serpent Dancers. Then we'll look at these 2, and we will pitch the Fearless Haladier, which will throw 4 damage at the Rollicking Throng, finishing that off. And then we will go on the attack. We will attack with the Hammer Dropper. We'll create another Goblin token, which is going to go on the attack with this other Goblin token. Hammer Dropper is going to attack. The Parhelion Patrol is going to attack. The Legion War Boss is going to attack. And the Fresh-Faced Recruit is going to attack. I don't think anyone else needs to attack, but we might as well just power people up. So the Barging Sergeant will attack. The Wojak Bodyguard will attack. And the Goblin Electromancers will also attack. The Fresh-Faced Recruit is going to take on the Serpent Dancers to finish it off, and there's going to be a chain of things going on here. So the Hammer Dropper is going to increase this is going to increase this is going to increase this, and this is going to increase this, which is going to increase this. That's more than enough damage to finish everything off, so everything will die. We will gain 4 life, and we will draw a card each. So we gain 4 life total to go up to 16. We draw a card each. Boros draws Luminous Bonds, and Izzet draws a Mountain. We'll spend 3 mana to put a Luminous Bonds on Xenagos, and then another 4 mana to play the Ledev Guardian. And then on this side, we will spend 5 mana to play the Watcher in the Mist. And that will end the turn. We'll go to Xenagos' turn. Xenagos will untap, and we'll cast the top 2 cards. The first one being a Impulsive Destruction. Each player may sacrifice an artifact or enchantment. Impulsive Destruction deals 3 damage to each player who didn't sacrifice a permanent that way. We don't have any artifacts or enchantments to sacrifice, so we're going to take 6 damage to go to 10. And then Xenagos will cast a second card, which is Ripped to Pieces. At the beginning of combat this turn, each Reveler deals 1 damage to each player and each creature those players control. There are 0 Revelers, so we take no damage. Then we're going to use a Harvester, and Boros will draw and discard a Mountain. Izzet will draw a Direct Current and discard a Mountain. And then we will untap. And then we'll draw. Boros gets a Smelt Ward Minotaur. Izzet gets a Goblin Crater Maker. It all doesn't really matter, because we're just going to attack with the Hammer Dropper into the Xenagos, who's not protected by any of his Revelers anymore, and Xenagos will perish, and so will the Hammer Dropper, and the Guilds of Ravnica sealed decks will win the day. We'll be right back with Hard Mode. And we are back for Game 2 in Hard Mode. We're going to be playing against 4 Rollicking Throngs, but otherwise the game is the same. We'll start with 8 cards apiece. Boros draws a Mountain, Plains, Demotion, Plains, Mountain, Smeltboard, Minotaur, and Plains. This is not actually worth keeping, especially since in multiplayer we get a free mulligan, so we'll go ahead and shift this back, because 1 playable card is pretty bad. Boros' second hand has a Guildgate, Mountain, Ledev Guardian, Fresh Face Recruit, Mountain, Plains. This is also pretty bad, but at least we have 2 playable cards, which I guess is a little better. So we'll keep that, and hopefully we can harvest our way into something better. Izzet gets an Island, Vidalcan Mesmerist, Mountain, Goblin Creator Maker, Direct Current, Murmuring Mystic, and Mountain. I think this is a keepable hand, so we will do so. Alright, turn 1, we're going to play a Mountain and a Plains, tap them both, and play a Fresh Face Recruit. Over here, we're going to play an Island and a Mountain, tap them both, and play a Vidalcan Mesmerist. And that's it. We're going to pass the turn to Xenagos, who will cast the top 2 cards. The first one being a Dance of Flame. That's 6 on the battlefield, and then we're going to also get a Xenagos Scorn. Xenagos Ascended gains Trample until end of turn and attacks his turn if able. He's going to attack, hit us for 6, because we're definitely not blocking that, and we're going to go down to 14. And then we're going to use the Harvester in the turn. Boros will draw a Demotion and discard that immediately, and Izzet will draw a Wojek Bodyguard, and we'll keep that, and we will discard the Direct Current. And then we will untap. We'll draw. We'll get a Mountain over here. We'll get a Mountain over here. We'll play 2 Mountains over here. And we will play 2 Mountains over here as well. And then Vidalcan Mesmerist and Fresh Face Recruit are going to go in on the attack against one of the Rollicking Throngs. And because this gives it -2/-0, it deals no damage back, so it dies. And then we're going to pay 4 mana over here and cast the Ledev Guardian. We're going to just pay 3 mana over here and play the Wojek Bodyguard, which is going to start making the Mesmerist a bit stronger. And then we are going to pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos untaps, and we'll cast the top 2 cards. The first one being a Xenagos Scorn. We take 4 damage each player. That's 8 damage right now, so that takes us all the way down to 6. And the second is an Ecstatic Piper, which causes Xenagos to go on the attack. We're going to have to just put the Ledev Guardian in the way, and it will bite the dust there. And then we will end the turn with a use of the Harvester. We'll draw a Justice Strike, and we will discard the Boros Guildgate. And over here we will draw a Island, and we will discard a Mountain. And then we'll untap, and we'll draw. Boros draws a Plains. Izzet draws a Capture Sphere. We're going to play the Island over here. And then we're going to go on the attack. The Fresh Face Recruit will attack the Ecstatic Piper. The Wojek Bodyguard is going to attack with the Vidalcan Mesmerist. One of these is going to attack the Rollicking Throng. And then the Wojek Bodyguard is going to give this one a +1/+1 counter. And so we'll be able to kill 2 of these as well as the Ecstatic Piper, giving us a total of 4 life for doing so, taking us all the way back up to 10. And then we will spend 4 mana and cast Capture Sphere on Xenagos, and that will keep him tapped. And then we'll just play another Mountain and Plains over here, and that will be it. We will pass the turn to Xenagos, who will cast the top 2 cards. The first one being a Ferris Band Revelers, which is a 4/4. The second one being a Ferris Band Revelers, which is a 4/4. There is no more things happening on Xenagos' side, but before the end of the turn, we're going to go ahead and cast Justice Strike on one of the Ferris Band Revelers. It'll deal damage to itself equal to its power, which kills one of the Ferris Band Revelers, and will each draw a card off of its Hero's Reward ability, which are mountains on both sides. And then at the end of the turn, we'll use Harvester. Xenagos will draw a Maximize Velocity and discard a mountain, and Izzet will draw an island and discard a mountain. And then we'll untap. We'll draw. Boros draws a Sunhold Stalwart, and Izzet draws a League Guildmage. We'll play the island over here and the mountain over here. We'll tap 2 mana, and we'll play the Sunhold Stalwart over here. We'll tap 4 mana, and we'll play the Murmuring Mystic over here. And we will also tap 2 mana to play the League Guildmage over here. We'll tap 1 mana to cast Maximize Velocity, making this a 3 first striker. And we'll attack with the Fresh Face Recruit and the Sunhold Stalwart and use the Mentor trigger to get the Fresh Face Recruit a trigger, both into the Rollicking Throng, killing that. And that will be the end of our turn. We'll pass to Xenagos, who will cast the top 2 cards. The first one being Impulsive Charge. At the beginning of combat this turn, all Revelers gain haste until end of turn and attack this combat if able. And then we will also get Xenagos' Scorn. Xenagos Ascended gains trample until end of turn, attacks this turn. Fable. Xenagos can't because he's tapped, but the Pharaoh's Band Members will attack and will deal us 2 damage total to take us down to 8. Actually, we can win if we block. So we're going to block with the Vidalcan Mesmerist and the Murmuring Mystic for a total of 4. The Mesmerist will take all 4 damage into the Murmuring Mystic, so the Pharaoh's Band Member will die. We'll draw a card each, being the Smeltboard Minotaur and the Mountain over here, and then we will end Xenagos' turn, and on our turn we'll use the Harvester. Boros will draw a Sworn Companions and will discard the Smeltboard Minotaur. Izzet will draw an island and will discard the mountain, and then we'll untap. We'll draw, Boros draws a Legion War Boss, Izzet draws a Chemister's Insight, play the mountain. It doesn't matter, we'll just go ahead and finish off Xenagos by attacking with the whole crew into Xenagos, who has no Revelers to defend him. And even though we will lose at least one of these creatures, and I will choose to lose the Murmuring Mystic in this particular case, we will kill Xenagos and defeat him. And that will give the Guilds of Ravnica sealed decks a win in both of the difficulty levels, and that is a rare double win. Let me know what you thought about these games in the comments below. If I made any gameplay or rules errors, also let me know so that I can get better at this. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.